I like Joshua Van, so I feel bad. But I just think Tatsuro Taira's got too many ways to get this done. I mean, on the feet, I think he can do well, very well. And I think he's got the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu on top of that as well. I think when you put the whole picture together, Tatsuro Taira may be the champion at the end of this.
Yeah, I see it a little differently. After I started doing some video research and I started looking at Joshua Van, and I said, this guy might be the most underrated striker in the UFC right now. I think he is absolutely phenomenal. I think he might be first or second, probably the second best combination puncher behind Topuria at present moment. And you know how highly I hold Topuria as a striker. I think this is a very young and composed technical striker who, if you allow him to take advantage, he's going to run away with it. Taira has made great strides with his striking, utilizing more long-range strikes. I think he's getting better. I just think Joshua Van is built a little different.
So based off of what I've seen in Taira's fights and how I observed him and how he listens to his corners and stuff like that during the fight, and he's able to take direction, add that into everything that I've heard about him from people within his circle about how he trains and just his mentality and everything, I think that Taira's going to win this fight because he knows this opportunity that's in front of him, and he has an amazing support system, and he's going to listen to that support system. So if something happens within the fight that is going to make him compromised, I think he's going to be able to adjust and attack this and win this clear and level-headedly. That's just kind of my take.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Tatsuro Taira is pretty damn good on the feet, but I mean, he's unfucking real on the mat. And his last two wins, who's he coming after? He got his first loss.
He beat Moreno.
And I mean, Hyun Sung Park, that was a good win, but the way he beat Moreno and the way he looked in that fight, he's a problem, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Tatsuro Taira.
Probably the hardest fight to call on this card just because they're both so fucking good. So I'm gonna go with Joshua Van. He's a champion. I think he's gonna be able to get the job done and defend a takedown. If he does not defend a takedown and Tatsuro Taira gets his back, it's probably gonna be curtains. It's gonna be a long fight. It have to be a short fight or a long fight. We'll find out, but I'm gonna go with Joshua Van, right?
I want to just see how good Van actually is.
100%.
That fight pissed me off so much with Pantoja, but it wasn't his fault, so I'm not mad at him at all. But damn, I want to get some damn answers, you know? This is a good fight, though. From what we've seen from Joshua Van, we know he can box. I don't think we've ever got a chance to really see him wrestle. He's got decent hips. He's stopped takedowns. I've seen that. But I'm curious to know with a guy like Taira, this is not an easy fight from a grappling perspective, and he's very basic and disciplined on the feet, super clean, keeps everything fundamentally sound, straight punches. He's not throwing loopy punches like me. But I think this makes for a great fight. Myself, I'm always going to lean towards the grappler because I think they could just add a different element to the fight.
I'm going with Taira, bro. I think Taira can't compete with Joshua Van on the feet. Taira needs to get Joshua Van down. Joshua Van has great takedown defense. But I would want to see with the jiu-jitsu. I think Taira is going to test his jiu-jitsu against Joshua Van. And I think this fight is going to be super fun. I think we're going to see a lot of scrambles, a lot of exchanges, maybe a decision. I think so. I think so this fight goes all the way. And I'm leaning a little bit more to Taira.
I'm going to go 250 Joshua Van here. I'm going to go 250 Joshua Van because I do. And he's gotten enough time now because he's known who he's going to fight for some time. So he's gotten enough time now to understand that this guy's coming to grapple. I need to make sure I level up there because that's the place where he really sees potential, a hole where he could potentially be defeated. So I like this fight.
I think Taira wins this fight.
again, like, you can't take away from Van's, determination and his heart, but he's a young guy, and you expect young guys to just be, a bit ignorant to to what's going on and to threats, and to just, ignorance is bliss, especially when you're really young. And I just have a feeling that, man, and he's only been doing this for like 6 years. Yeah. So to me, it's like he hasn't really been in there and experienced some of the moments that I think that he's going to really grow from and really become a truly great martial artist. I think he's accomplished so much in a short amount of time that I think it's kind of surpassed how good of a martial artist that he can actually be. And I think he's still got a lot of learning to do. And I think that he hasn't learned it yet. And I think this is a fight where he might learn it.
While I am a big fan of Joshua Van, I think Tatsuro Taira is the future of the flyweight division. I think that Tatsuro Taira is going to win the title. And I think we're going to see the UFC going back to Japan. I think he's going to be the guy to put the UFC on his back and take us back to Japan.
I'm going Taira. I think Joshua Van, he's good. He's a dog, but he's been knocked out before. I think he's shown holes in his game.
But two of the most talented guys on the roster, Van and Taira, both beasts. I think they first came into the UFC watching their fights. Van took an early loss. Taira took a loss to Royval, but since then, and even before then, man, both these guys been active, been dominant, and I'm excited to see this one. My pick, I'm going with Taira. I think his ground game is just too good. He's big, he's long, he's strong, but I think Taira is going to be the new champion.
But yeah, we've got Joshua Van, who I've seen fight live, so I do know a lot about him.
It was an unreal fight.
Unreal fight when he fought Brandon Royval in Vegas, one of the best fights I've ever seen live. And we've got Taira, who in his last fight beat, who did he beat in his last fight?
Brandon Moreno.
Brandon Moreno, former champion. He's also 18-1, up and coming at flyweight, and this is Van's first title defense, so a lot of pressure on him, but I'm sure he'll be all right. We're hoping that Van wins this one, and if you want my prediction, Van by decision.
Another decision?
Another decision.
Joshua Van is just such a polished striker, but I haven't seen enough of him in these scramble positions to feel comfortable saying I think he's able to stuff these takedowns for 25 minutes to stay on the feet. And so it's got me leaning towards Tatsuro Taira, just because I feel like over the course of 25 minutes, he might find something. Even if Joshua Van's piecing him up for 3 rounds, there's always that opportunity that he makes one mistake and Taira slaps on the choke.
This is a hard fight to pick as well, right? Because Joshua Van, he do got good power in his hands. He could lay out any flyweight on this planet, right? And he has shown, first off, that he can go 5 rounds. That's what I can respect, too, from the young buck. He can go 5 rounds. But Tatsuro, he's just a puzzle, right? And not just a puzzle on the ground, but I think he's a puzzle on the feet as well, with weird combinations, right? Getting inside, grappling, right? And I feel like he can take your back standing. Like, who do that? You know what I'm saying? You take your back standing. So I really believe that, Tatsuro and Joshua Van, it will be a fun fight. But I see Tatsuro doing his thing, man, and taking that belt from Joshua Van.
I like Tatsuro Taira in this fight, and I like him because of the fact that he has that ground. I feel like, they're going to be contending with each other standing up, but I feel like when it comes to the ground and Tatsuro Taira's back control, I feel like that's going to be the biggest difference maker in this fight.
Well, all right. Josh Van is what dreams are made of, by the way, right? I mean, This is a guy that went out, found an opportunity, and made the most of it. I think that Van secretly is really good, and I also think he's going to hold on to that belt a lot longer than people give him credit for. I mean, for the most part, when he got that, it was almost like the booby prize and hold on to this until Pantoja is back. I don't know that history's going to represent that. I think that Josh Van is a badass that hasn't really gotten his due yet. He's got a world title and people are still counting him out. He's got a world title and they're still making him jerk the curtain. They're not putting him in the final spot. He's got a world title and they believe they've got the guy in Pantoja that can come back and take it whenever he wants. Well, That's not how I think this story is going to go. I think that Van is going to be very exciting. I think that for this weight class, you're going to get a lot of rounds. I don't know if they're going to go all 25 minutes, but you're going to get a lot of rounds and a lot of minutes. They're going to be fun, but ultimately and still, Josh Van will be champion.